Now we are inside the Pacific Asia Curling Championship, the Shenzhen Universiade Sports Center. China takes on Japan. In our featured game, we are on the women's side. We are on sheet E for this one. Luke Coley here. Thanks for tuning in as we continue our coverage. And let's meet the teams from left to right. Their lead for Team China, Xiao Riyi. Their second, Jiang Cindy. Their third, Sheng Lijun. And the skip of this Chinese team, Han Yu. Will take on their rivals in Japan. Again, left to right, their lead, Hasumi Ishiguka. Their skip, throwing second stones, Sina Nakajima. Their third, Chiaki Matsumura. And the fourth stone thrower, Ikui Kitazawa. We look at the standings here. So far, China and Japan both at 2-0, then Australia, Hong Kong, Korea, and Chinese Taipei at 1-1, followed by Kazakhstan and Qatar, both looking for win number 1. Usual handshakes to get the game started, to signify the start of the game. Great tradition as we look at all the games. Kazakhstan taking on Hong Kong on sheet B. While sheet C, it's Chinese Taipei taking on Qatar. Sheet D, it's Australia against Korea. And on E, China, Japan. Both 2-0, trying to set themselves apart from the field. We'll bring in the great Rona Howie here for her insight into this game as we look at what's going on. China and Japan, these two both sitting at 2-0. But getting that one seed is actually a big step because you don't have to take on like of a Korea and such. We'll get into through that as we see China winning the last stone draw, so they'll have the hammer. Japan gets us started. And Hasumi Ishiguka.
Yeah, very important game this morning for both these teams. It's a must win for both of them. Both desperate to get to the final stages.
Well, first stone in. And Rona, we're really getting a first look at this Chinese team. Very young squad. Their lead, Xiao Riyi, 20 years of age.
First time I've had a look at this team. See, they're all very young. And, you know, we've seen quite a few different Chinese teams over the years. And, yet again, here's another one. So they're certainly coming through thick and fast. Of course, for a lot of these teams here, it's so important to get that world place to lead on to an Olympic placing. But for China, they know they've got that host point in Beijing in 2022.
Let's look at the rules of play. 6 ends minimum must be played. 38 minutes of thinking time with 1 60-second timeout. Xiao Riyi. Well, looked like lots of ice, and there was trying to directionally sweep that open miss, so an early mistake here in this game.
Lots of communication there about what went wrong. It's always good to see a young team have that communication. Always learning.
On this Japanese team, see the skip, Sina Nakajima, who's 21 years of age herself. 4th place at the Worlds a year ago. So looking for the guard. It slides into the house, and a chance here to play this hit. Jiang Cindy. Only able to get one, so some early mistakes from both sides here in the first end of this game. See, Ikui Kitazawa holds the broom for the second stones, throws those last two, the fourth stones of the end. Big sweep to try and get that one to curl, get that finish to try and get it over across and protect the one in the house. Well, rolls off to the side, just that one stone in the rings here. One out in front. Chiaki Matsumura, 27 years of age. Shang Li Jun, 23-year-old. Well, unable to hold the shooter, so a big difference. That one not staying in play.
Yeah, important for China to keep that shooter in the rings. Now it gives Japan that chance to come around, get behind cover.
Both teams struggling, not quite as sharp as you'd expect on the early going of this game. Look at the late finish as that one curls in behind.
Yeah, passes the guard by a long way. Just really pulls. You want to sweep it big at the end and pull it as far as you can. Oh, and just next the guard. Has it pushed it in the rings? No, just out.
So Japan happy, guarded up again. A conservative approach from both sides to start this game. We saw the first stone in, but the mistakes have led to this, Rona.
Yeah, definitely. Some half shots from both sides. And there, you know, it's all about experience, and that's what this young Chinese team are gaining here, game by game.
Yeah. 23-year-old Ikui Kitazawa.
Guarding on such swingy ice is very tricky, but she's made a great job of that.
Yeah, and do you think, having thrown a few in this path, just throwing the draw, they've had a good read on that spot?
Yeah, definitely. In their draw down this path, the sweepers would have got a time and communicated it so that she knew exactly what to throw for draw for guard weight. And it was out of hand. The sweepers never really needed to do much with it. Perfect.
Well, Han Yu, 19 years old. Finished 4th at the World Junior Championship last year. Won't come up with that. Misses the run back on her first shot here this game. Both know when they take on each other at this event, it's going to be a meaningful game. Two teams have had a lot of success at this championship. Well, second time at this one, it slides in, opens up that one, just biting top of the forefoot, and opens up the open hit for the single point.
Still a deterrent there.
Concede just all of that one.
Just all. But on the swingy ice, you know, that top one is a deterrent. But Japan will be quite happy if they force China to take their one here.
Well, they can't get by with that final shot, so it ends up touching that top stone. It was good enough, and it leads to an early steal by Japan. So 1-0. Japan celebrates the single point they get to start off this game. Welcome back, second end, our feature coverage, China against Japan. Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2019. That's the women's action here this morning. Game number 3 for them. Both teams coming in with 2-0 records. Early steal of 1 by Japan. So that stone goes back 4 foot.
Okay.
Just a case maybe a young skip and giving up the steal. Could easily go put the corner guard up.
Yeah, definitely when that stone went back tee for Japan, a great chance for China to put up that corner. Hitting stones back tees not really beneficial at this stage.
We're seeing how much this ice is moving. A lot of ice for these hits.
Yep, you've certainly got to have a very positive release. The ice is usually swinging a long way both hands.
Very nice. Roll it right back to the heart of the rings. And now the corner guard goes up. So you could put that corner guard out on the first one. They like to play a couple hits, sort of. It's the delayed corner guard, as some people call it.
Yeah, with the new 5-rock rule now, you've got that extra stone. And some people just want to get the one away that's closer to the button, move it first. And then you've got more of a scoring area to play with. Japan are unable to remove this.
Sina Nakajima. We'll guide that one in, but seeing a lot of swing, especially away from that board side. Towards the other sheets, really diving in. Looking to use the corner, coming around. Well, we're not just seeing the curl one way, it's going both directions.
It's come out the other side.
And let's look around, see what's going on in the other action here this morning. Kazakhstan, Hong Kong over on sheet B.
Hong Kong are lying 2 on the button. So Satora Aliyarova from Kazakhstan trying to remove both these yellow counters. And just clips one out, so it's a steal of 1 for Hong Kong at the first end.
Yeah, it came up just enough at the end to get 1. It was looking, might not get anything, but a single point for Hong Kong. Our game, Japan played the hit, was unable to stick around, but they do get rid of that Chinese stone.
And with the ice as swingy as this on both hands, you really need the guards close to the rings to be usable.
Well, they get around. Is it available? Is that one you can get to?
You could virtually follow that route down that they took for the draw, come round at a back ring weight, and you would still draw enough to tap it back. And even if you caught the guard, your shooter could roll over into the other pile.
Well, rather than chase at this point, do you think because you're lying 2, does that change your thought? Even just go up and try and peel the guard?
Yep, she could try the run back in the guard if she wanted, or just peel it. because by just nicking it out, they could actually get a better one round.
Well, they will touch that one over. That's the risk with that one. Up their weight. They tick it over, and Matsumura leaves China lying one just like that.
So a great chance now for China to set up their two here.
Punch that one through the holes, but both teams on those half shots take that one over. Seems as though the hit didn't need to be played that early. You can try and move those. You could tap it back, freeze.
Yeah, they could have come around that top one and even frozen the back yellow there. Both teams just struggling a wee bit with hitting on the nose. They're hitting and running out. But another chance now for China to come around the corner guard. See the time clock. Timing hog to hog. Probably about 13 and a half. Oh, definitely going a bit faster the ice this morning.
Just need to get this one on the paint, but as we've seen in the early going of this event, hog line in, you get so much curl, the weight just came right off. I thought it might have had a chance, and it's a good rock out of the rings.
Yeah, just
real good look at these athletes getting right in behind. Fitness becomes such a big part of the game, and especially in the Chinese program, really building towards the Olympics. Of course, the only team that has an automatic spot because they're hosting the games. Focusing on that, getting themselves ready now for these events, and really going through and seeing what it takes to play this many games throughout an event.
And you wonder that with the coaching team, you know, how differently do they look at their program when they know they're guaranteed a spot? All the other nations need to get that spot first before they can start looking that far ahead.
There's a real big sweep back from Japan. They can't get it to the rings. Something they could use, though, depending on what happens.
Yeah, definitely usable.
Marco Mariani, pardon me, Chinese coach.
Oh, he's looking a bit stressed already this morning.
Scratch his head, figuring out, okay, what do we got to do here? Seeing a couple come up short.
Yeah, that yellow guard that Japan just put up, China could use that and come around, try and force an error from Japan. But she resigned herself to the fact that let's just blank this end and go for two in the next.
It is early in the game, but you've definitely seen a mindset and a thought from China that when it comes down to it, draw or hit, I'm going to play the hit before the draw. See the Japanese coach. Always smiles there from Yusuke Morozumi, the Olympian 2018. Now moving into the coaching ranks last year with this team and help guide them to fourth place finish lot of rotation on that delivery there from Kitazawa. She hits and rolls away. Someone that's not as familiar, Rona, the rotation will cut. What effect does it have on the stone?
Yeah, so the greater rotation she put on that, it holds the stone straighter. But on the swingy ice, you do need a positive release with plenty handle, or the stone will just lose its handle.
Well, after all that, looked like chance at 2, get the corner guard in play. Hanyu to blank. The second end wants to roll out. Well, they want to roll out. This one will be right on the nose for a single point. So trade singles, one via the steal, one with the hammer for China. 1-1 is where we stand after 2 ends. A 1-1 game as we play end number 3, China against Japan. And watch this one work right towards the center. That extra curl that we're seeing. And for the first time in the game, it'll be Japan that has last stone advantage. Lukoli here with Rona Howie. It was a steal in the first, a blank try in the second that was a single. So now the team's shaking off the cobwebs here in the morning and get at it here in end number 3.
Yep, down to business now. Got the centre guard on. Interesting, Japan were drawing to the wing there. But just too much ice. The stone was too high, but nearly did tick the red guard. Play a tick shot.
Trying to make something. You've seen that, I'm sure, Ron, over the years. That you try and make something out of every rock.
Yeah, it's always, and that's where communication is so important. The sweepers are communicating to the skip what weight's been played so you can make the best of every shot.
Able to make that hit, just struggles from both sides in the early going. See the disappointment on the face. Xiaori. And again, playing this draw to the wide side, but the amount of late curl, you got to just sneak by. And speaking of sneaking by, it's Chinese Taipei is going to have to sneak by and get at those 3 yellow stones.
Yeah, Qatar, line 3, all guarded. Lin Haidi, not got an easy shot here. There's not an easy way into the pile of 3. There is a red she's trying to raise up. Just catches it too high. A big steal of 3 for Qatar.
Well, Qatar coming in 0-2, looking for their first win. They get the big steal on that one, so a good start for them. Meanwhile, those 2 Japanese stones well spread out. Jiang Cindy trying to hit and roll in. And for the second straight shot, won't get anything. See the amount of curl on the draws. Does that get in your mind when you're playing the hits?
Yeah, you definitely know it's the stone's moving, even with the bigger weights. So I suppose in their head they're thinking, okay, I need to make sure I do take enough ice, but yeah, it's just having the confidence in your own ability of how you release the stone. And that's where they're very good at communicating after every shot. You know, the feedback's there as to what went wrong and what they can sort for the next time.
Well, Japan says, I'm just going to draw another one to the wings.
And this is where Japan can play it very open, clean, keep separation between their stones, and just China, they know are going to hit.
Well, a hit, try and jump it over, get it closer to the others, leave them a double chance. Solid effort, but just comes out from behind that guard. Let's look in Australia and Korea. Their second end, Australia leading 1-0 at the moment.
Chance here for Korea though. Australia line 1, but an open hit here. Gamoon Chi. Sweeper's trying to hold it. And does it stay? It does. So multiple score for Korea. They lead 2-1 after 2.
Korea trying to stay close to those front runners in China and Japan. Of course, Korea losing their lone game to Japan on Saturday. As we were showing that, Japan makes the hit, and it's sort of that decision. It is facing 3. Freeze is kind of tempting, but you're also facing 3.
When you're facing 3, it's tempting just to hit. But with it being back tee, you know, they could play the freeze.
Get by the front, and we'll hit.
Yeah, the hit and roll is just as good an option there.
They flirted with that guard, but make a nice roll.
Even if Japan remove the guard here and rolled their shooter over to guard their other yellows in the wing, wouldn't be a bad result. Big extension there, trying to generate more weight.
Case where he maybe overthrew it a bit. Matsumura was hoping to either make the run or hit and roll it onto the rings. Gets neither.
Now gives China that opportunity to hit and lie 2. Where Japan were in a great position to be lying 3 at one point. Nearly took the double the other way. Wow. That was plan B. At least it did remove 1 out the rings though.
Got the benefit of that, but that's the way this game has gone in the early going.
So advantage Japan. This is going to be a roller coaster of 10 ends.
It's been a roller coaster of a third end already, let alone 10 ends. It will hit lie 2.
Yeah, they're well spread out. Not a double there. Just be looking to hit this outside one and roll over towards the centre in the hope that Japan knows and leave a double.
Look at the technically very sound delivery from Han Yu. Trying to make the hit and roll over, but will end up rolling out. You're seeing the directional sweep to try and get it to get to the nose. Well, that way, not going to have too much effect.
Allows Japan now just to draw the other side, lie 2.
So we'll keep an eye, Rona. This broom is on the edge of the 4-foot. They're going to try and go to the other side. I think it probably makes it into the 12-foot.
Yep, I think you're right. See the time clock, probably looking for 13, 13 and a half.
Right where you were thinking, they want to put this one even with that other Yellowstone. See that weight come right off as soon as it gets close to the house, takes that curl.
Yeah, that'll be a big learning curve for these young teams as well, how to deal with such swingy ice. That you do need that extra running just to be the tee weight.
Want to try and roll over. They roll the other way. Just on the wrong side of the stone there, meaning open rings chance at a deuce for Japan.
So she's taking edge of the 4 the other way this time. So it'll be interesting to see how much this comes across.
So final shot of the third end. Ikui Kitazawa had a draw to the rings with her first. This is her second. She wants to put this one in the rings to score a multiple end of 2.
Super standing back on this.
Goes to the other side and will go right through the rings. So only the single point for Japan. Points left out there early from both sides. We have a 2-1 Japan lead over China after 3 ends. Hey, good morning to everyone watching our live coverage of the Pacific Asia Curling Championship 2019. So we see a 2-1 game. Both teams trying to get themselves comfortable here in this one. Some half shots that led to a chance at 2. And Kitazawa actually threw a different turn than she threw on her first. Normally Skip loves to throw that same shot twice. Figured she might have had some backing, overthrew it, and leads to just the single for Japan, and that's the difference in this game so far.
Yeah, there's missed opportunities on both sides, and you just feel who's going to grasp it first and take these chances, capitalise when they can.
Well, these teams know what's at stake in this round-robin game. 4 teams make the playoffs, and then it's 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 in the semifinals. You get that one spot, you're going to avoid most likely playing either China or Japan. Say if Japan wins, they would avoid China and Korea in the semifinals and trying to get to the final maybe a little bit of an easier route.
Yeah, definitely. They want that first position.
It was China, Korea, and Japan last year on the podium, but 3 different squads, so it's all brand new teams for those 3 nations. Talked about it in the first couple days. This is really the jump start, the push to the 2022 Olympic Winter Games in Beijing and qualifying your country.
Yep, this is the start of the whole process. Olympic points are at stake at this year's World Championships.
So lead stones in. We have a center line guard, a corner guard. See if Japan tries to go an aggressive approach, try and maybe put the pressure on this Chinese team that hasn't played as many big events as the Japanese have. This one will come right out the other side, though.
Yeah, you don't want to be just scraping past guards. You want to pass the guards by good 6 inches to 12 inches before it doesn't come out the other side.
Look here at this one coming by. Just gets by. And then keeps making that right-hand turn out the other side of the guard. Hit and roll out. Seen that from both teams. They're making the hit, but they're not making those the 4 out of 4 shot. It's the 2 out of 4,
shots,
the 3 out of 4. Alcina Nakajima throws the second stones, but calls the game for this Japanese squad. Won't get by that corner. As we said, leave something, make something with the shot, or they have a tight center line guard at least.
Again, it was just taking that bit much ice, but they thought, well, we've got to come around this guard, we need to take more ice, but it did stay out longer, and she said they made the most of it. However, China can now use this corner guard they have, try and get around it.
Well, very nice come around.
Yep, Japan say, just ignore that. We'll top up our yellow. And sometimes when the ice has got big swings like this on both hands, and it is difficult to come around guards perfectly, it's actually easier to play a tap-up game. Put your stones close to the ring and tap up rather than trying to come around.
Little tap, just didn't have enough steam to get that one in for shot stone. We'll look in Australia and Korea.
Yes, but if you don't make it.
Mentioned Korea being the reigning champions, they're the reigning champion nation.
If I half make this, it cuts
Different
them down
squad
to get
here,
one.
and they have a few in there that Australia's chasing.
Yeah, line 3. So Lauren Wagner from Australia could draw the button, but choosing to play the hit. Is she passed? Oh, just. And does remove 2 of them, not from play, but enough. She's cut them down from 3 to 1.
1 yellow.
So that's a pretty good cut down when you're facing 3 like that. 3-1 Korea leads.
Japan facing 2 here, trying to get the hit and roll. It's just going to roll too far.
Yeah, it's been the story of this game so far is the hit and roll out. There's been a lot of that, and unable to figure the exact spot where they need to put the broom to make that hit and roll. Another one in behind that corner guard.
12秒5 12秒5 OK 12秒5
Maybe a couple feet too deep.
Ideally, if that was top tee, buried, they would be in a really good position. It does give Japan the chance to come down and sit on top and really kill the end.
Here's a look at all the scores. Hong Kong leads Kazakhstan 2-1. Qatar 6-0 up on Chinese Taipei. Korea 3-1 over Australia. And 2-1 here on Sheet E, our feature game. Japan leading China. This is a crucial shot in the game. Ikui Kitazawa try and lock this one on.
An interesting release. She holds the handle at the very end and then opens up her hand, so it's quite a loose release.
Definitely throws it with more rotation than other players out there. Right down, sit on the corner.
Great
that
shot.
Is nice. Composure from the youngster. Rona, talk us through this one.
Yeah, so her hand's quite close to the end of the handle, and then at release, it's the big spin. She opens up her fingers, loosens, and then it's all wrist action to spin the handle. But very effective.
The extra rotation on it allows it to run a little bit, maybe a little bit straighter, take that late, some of the late finish off of it.
Yeah, it's a truer result when you've got more handle with the big swinging ice.
And every player will have a different feel. You'll see a different release here from Han Yu. For a young player like Han Yu, it's tough because you're going to have to try and follow that same line down, but it's not going to react the same.
Trying to hold the line, just over curls. And that could be the difference. They maybe took exactly the same ice, but more rotation from Japan, and theirs just hung that fraction straighter.
Had a real nice shot, but just that little over curl.
And that's where it's important as well as a skip, when you're reading the ice for your players, you know, you're also looking at what the opposition throw and how they throw it, because everybody will get different results in how they release the stone. It's not always just a case of, well, they took that ice, so I'll take that ice. You've got to look at how you play and how they play.
So Kitazawa go around the center line guard.
Yep, a line shot out in the wings, so come around the center, top tee, lie two.
Right along, encouraging the sweepers. Don't think they're going to be able to, despite the encouragement, get there, as it adds another one out front.
And it was that stone she was heavy with at the last end. So maybe that was playing in her head, took a wee bit off and came up short.
The nice thing for Japan is the one they have can't really be removed, so it's still going to force the draw for one. But this could have been a little bit more pressure on the shot for Han Yu. Last shot of the fourth end. Need full 8 foot or better to get the single point. Had to wait to get off that corner guard. Now guide this one in. Put it on the lid for the skipper. They'll get to the 4 foot and get a single point. So we are all tied up again. We're through 4 ends. 2-2, China and Japan.
这个出手，这个出手比刚才的那个好，比这个。我这往上就是延伸那种加的罩，还是跟补球一样的线。对。然后第5站位，还是站位。
2-2 is where we sit. Singles abound. The one in the first via the steal. Other than that, it's always been with the hammer. So we play end number 5, Japan with last stone advantage. We see the center line guard to start off. We haven't seen this style of tactics so far in the game, Rona. We're going to see to the wing.
Yeah, Japan called it earlier, but it didn't transpire that it worked out for them in that end. But that's where we always say tactics are great, but you've got to play the shots.
Ishiguka, the lead, this Japanese team, won the Japanese championship, and then with their system, they get the right to play the World Championship, and then the following season, they'll play here at the Pacific Asia Championship. Then they'll have their this season's Japanese Championship to go play at the Worlds, and then next season's Pacific Championship. Of course, you qualify for the World Championship from here, so they'd love to be able to get Japan that spot, go play their nationals, and have a chance to win it to go play at the Worlds and for another season. So the centerline guard, draw to the wing, the hit by Japan, and Xiao Ri just rolls out of the rings.
Yeah, because there's some nations here, if they qualified, it would be that team. They're qualifying themselves, whereas other nations, they're actually just qualifying the nation, not themselves. They still have to play off to get the spot, so it's... You wonder if it's a different mindset for them.
Yeah, and every federation will do things a little bit differently. See the Europeans at a championship and a couple events to qualify other teams out of the worlds for the World Championship. Look for China just trying to be real sharp with these. Make this hit and stick right there. Rather than the rollout, really be sharp in where they want to get these rolls to. Well, avoid the jam, let her roll in. Nicely done. Jiang Cindy able to make that nice roll.
Yep, she's happy with that. But we've noticed in this game, really, you've only got that one guard, and both teams will keep hitting. They're not willing to really take on that freezing drawing game.
So that one will just tick by. Let's look at some of these, the releases.
Yep, again, very loose release at the edge of the handle.
Right at the
She's
back
got a
end.
better grip, but and that's where wrist action comes in quite a lot to releasing the stone.
One for the Chinese team, their release is going to be very similar. Lead to skip. See here, Jiang Cindy, just very natural.
Yep. Japan are a bit higher with the release, whereas China, the wrist is lower there. But that's only the second players.
You saw Seina Nakajima sort of the thumb on top as opposed to the hand.
Yes. Because Ishigusha, she's got a wrist very low, which means it's wrist action that plays the stone. Whereas when the hand's higher, you can play through. And it makes a difference when you've got big swinging ice, how you release the stone.
Here, Shang Li Jun has more of the hand on top of the handle as opposed to the thumb on top.
But her elbow's quite low.
Avoids jamming on the other one, rolls off and will just hang around edge of the 12-foot.
Yeah, important to stay in there. Just keep that second counter in.
Playing these hits and by rolling out now opens up that guard to use.
Yeah, that was an important one for Matsumura to stay in play. Look at the difference here where the handle's completely straight at start point. I mean, you see Matsumura next, she's completely turned around. Gosh, all working this really hard.
Shang Li Jun joins to sweep her own. That's that one. Continue to slide for them into the top of the 4-foot.
Yeah, nicely buried. Played a slightly down weight to try and get the edge, but just passes.
Struggles both sides there as that one goes right by. Now here's a look at the third players.
So on her in turn, she does start with the handle turned, but on her out turn, she's straight. As you see here, Matsumura.
Hands almost underneath.
Yeah, it's a much looser release in the wrist, so she gets a lot more spin on her handle. China in a really strong position here.
Seeing that from both these last stone throwers. Right in behind, encouraging Han Yu.
Comes up short. She would ideally have liked to have been in, but it's still a good guard. You can see there, Kitazawa won't be able to see much of that from the hack at all. It's completely buried.
That being said, it does curl so hard at the end.
Yeah, virtually just playing a tap back weight. It's been a well played end by China. Asking the question here.
Kui Kitazawa. Trying to get the little tap back. Can they catch on the side? Get fortunate there. They won't. It'll hit, roll out. So China, chance to put one in a better spot to really try and put the pressure on in this fifth end. So Han Yu's final shot here without the hammer. A 2-2 game. Needs this one to stop and curl. And it comes in behind back of the 8-foot. Not quite the pressure that they could have put on Team Japan. Seeing the other players, let's look at the last stone throwers. Their 2 deliveries.
Yeah, Hanlon's got a very positive hold on the handle. She looks down at it at release. Solid release. Here, much looser release for Kitazawa. Just the edge of the handle she's holding. More wrist action.
Now the final stone. Definitely a difference of her in turn or her out turn.
Definitely, yes.
This is the out turn.
Sweepers are on there early.
They need to get this to the 4-foot. Ishiguka, Matsumura facing 2, trying to get it at least to the paint. Keep it going. How far can it go? It'll get in, but it's going to be a steal in this fifth end. And it is just the 1. So China will take the lead into the break. 5 ends through. 3-2. China leading Japan. first end, and it left, the last shot by Japan left it open. A chance here for Hanyu to make the hit, but it overcurls and crashes on the front. And this game starts with a steal of 1 for Japan. Second end, pretty open play. Couple of guards there, but this one back of the 12-foot. Open for Hanyu to hit, looking to hit and run it out to blank the end. But the young Chinese skip, unable to blank it, will take the 1 and tie the game up. Fourth end and a lot of play around that corner. The freeze by Kitazawa in Japan. Perfect spot, takes away any chance of multiple score. Hanyu forced to draw. Full 8-foot to pick up the single point. And just like that, right into the 4-foot for China. They get their 1. Look in Australia against Korea on sheet D. Last of the 4th end. Australia, Lauren Wagner coming in with a 1-1 record. Aspirations trying to get themselves into the playoff picture. The playoffs at the end of the week, top 4 make it. And here, need full 8-foot to outcount those yellow Korean stones. And it will stop back at the 8-foot. So Australia gets 1. Let's look at all those scores after that. Kazakhstan, Hong Kong 3-2 in the 5th end of that one. Kazakhstan leading. Qatar is still up 6-0 in the 5th end against Chinese Taipei. Single point lead there for us, or for Korea over Australia.
Good tactics, you stop a little bit, but now you have a good feeling. Go on like that. Very good. I like that. I like that. I really like it. I really like it. Play a team together. Find solution. Good. Really good. Bravo. Everything's going well. Good like that. Good like that. Good. Really good.
Well, there's the numbers through 5 ends of play. 3-2 China leading Japan. Overall percentage 61% for China, 63% for Japan. Advantage for China in the draw percentage 69 to 65. And the hit percentage, a lot of half shots there. 55 for Japan, 59 for 55 for China, 59 for Japan. Stolen point each. 3-2. China leads halfway through. Look above the lovely Shenzhen Universiade Sports Center. Lots of different facilities throughout. We're here next to an arena. There's the stadium as they hosted the Summer Universiade Games in 2011. Of course, lots of many events here. There was just recently some exhibition NBA games just next door about a month ago. Numerous events being held here, but this is the Pacific Asia Curling Championship 2019. China, Japan, 2 teams that have their eyes on being on the top of the podium at the end of the week. There's how we got here. It started with that steal in the first, trading singles until the steal by China in the 5th. Both sides pretty upbeat in their fifth end break, just reinforcing the positive, try and build the confidence moving into the second half of this game. So with the amount of swing we're seeing, Rona, it's tough to get that corner guard in a good spot.
Yeah, it is, because you want the corner guard to be pretty close to the rings to be usable. But they could put a high one up and then come around it now. And you're virtually needing double guards here to be able to come around buried.
A few more guards we've seen throughout in this game. Going aggressive early to start this one off.
Yeah, they've called the come around, but with that yellow guard being so high, it would be easy to follow.
Ishiguka at 90% on the game.
Yeah, even if this was another guard, it would be a good result.
As you said, it is another guard, but even wider than the higher one.
Just about running out of rings.
It's tough to throw that and not have it over curl, especially going to that side. Jiang Cindy, 63%.
Chance here to come around, sit top tee and be buried. But this is just sliding deep.
Seina Nakajima, 50%. Not where she would want to be. Well, over curls will end up rolling out, removing that top stone. And that's where that 50% is.
Yep. They need to just start making 100% shots. Too many half shots and your opposition will capitalise. And here is the chance for China to come around top tee and lie two buried.
And second look at this, so they'll have a good feel for this spot.
Nicer weight. Trying to drag it in a wee bit.
Uses the sweepers. That one goes top 12 foot.
Yep, sweepers working hard today.
Trying to open the front up, give themselves a chance to make a play in the rings.
Yeah, they need to score at the sixth end. Just opening things up.
Well, there's the 100% shot. Wanted to clear that one out.
With that one being back tee of China, there is still the chance Japan could come in and freeze on top of that at some point in the end.
Shang Li Jun, third player. She was the alternate at the World Championship last year. Team that finished 6th, lost the quarterfinal to the eventual champion. Teams from Switzerland. China's definitely controlling play the last couple ends.
That one's a bit closer, easier to lift the 2 here. Matsumura not having her best game today.
Oh, at 58%. He had a couple of key ones in the last half of this game and almost gets all 3. That's a good start for the Japanese third. Almost clips that back one on the way by.
It does block the out-turn draw now for them. And if China guard up the in-turn side, Japan will have to keep opening things up.
Plug the hole. Well, and Rona, let's look over Kazakhstan, Hong Kong.
I'm not sure how many Kazakhstan are lying, maybe 7. So this is a big shot for Hung Lung Yu. Trying to hit off the red. Well, what has that saved?
Better than what it was looking, but still a steal given up. 6-2s will slide over Australia and Korea.
Kim Unchi.
Trying to
Chance for 2 here. This is pulling. Oh, just rubs the guard, but does get the shot.
Oh, they get the
moving everything, but it stays in.
They get the break.
Yeah, good score of 2.
Get the members bounce, as you would say at the golf course. Korea trying to win back-to-back Pacific Championships. Of course, last year was Kim Min-ji, her team winning that over Japan and Satsuki Fujisawa.
Han Yu not having her best game either today, but in a good position here.
Quite enough weight. Takes that curl, weight comes right off, and it's opportunity. Left the door open for Kitazawa and Japan.
Yep, great chance here for Kitazawa to come in and weld one right in here. And she struggled with her draw weight. This is really a key one. Start of this second half of the game.
53% for Ikui Kitazawa.
Sweepers are saying this is heavy.
Won't even get off that corner guard.
Well, this is pretty blocked up now. Korea in a great position. Sorry, China in a great position.
这边太四了，行，去吧，能不能进前线都不一定。怎么来？这么来吧，因为这边前期的走的直，打进白的就行。
There is such a good finish if you come right round the wide side there.
上一个得大，上189。
You will still get to the forefoot. If she sits top 4 here.
稍微加点转，嗯。
Well, such a long guard, so get around those
这样站
right
也
in.
行。
Be very tough to score.
那这么掉下来站。OK， 行。对，收点点。迎边，再收一点。
Yeah, if she can come right round all that pile of granite into the forefoot. Kirisawa really left with a difficult shot.
带着点，CD。领先。卡进来，进营。站位，你不说吊着站位吗？
Well, they pull right off this one, not going to get around. They tightened up the ice a little bit on it.
我是进营还是站呀？不是站位吗？吊着站位投的。不是站位吗？你说那边站一个。哦。
Is there a run back now?
我说站一个也行，你不是
Can you tap that yellow one up?
你说那边站一个，我就奔站位来的。那这个
I'm still laughing about it anyway. China quite happy. Do still lie one guarded, and it's certainly not an easy shot here. You raise that yellow, you have to skim past the red.
Not playing this quietly, they're playing the run back at it. Take the curl out of it. Sometimes you try and play it quiet and it becomes that much trickier with the curl. Stolen point sitting there right now, that red rock. Japan would like to remove. Kui Kitazawa.
It's just inside there, you can see it release.
And
Sweepers couldn't hold it.
Never had a chance, and it's another stolen point. China takes a 2-point lead after back-to-back steals. They're up 4-2 over Japan. Here's our feature game in Shenzhen, China.
再交流再细一点。可能那个也可能在意，但是这过去了，咱下一个沟通好。这过去了。
We begin end number 7, our feature game. China against Japan. And China has dictated the play the last couple ends. Japan has never been able to get out of it. Again, you see the center line guard started off. It's now a 2-point lead. Biggest lead either side has had in this match.
Okay. 好，翻篇了，好，就10秒。ナイスナイス。はい、なら待って。よー、よー、ちょっとまだ幅
So a little setup out in front. Japan's going to want to try and play to the wing. China to the center.
还可以吧？这我来了啊，没问题。能行，没事。你就正常做，一样的正常做就行。
Xiao Ri try and go right in behind.
顶线带着点儿，6，我可以等一等先。6、7，先别顶线啊，下线，下线，可以下线，再来，再下，准备擦红啊，快点下，开路，再来，嘿 ，OK， 可以，好球。
They play a little tick shot. Thought it looked tough because of the way the late finish to get through that port.
挺好的，给你3分。
Yeah, with swinging ice like this, it's very difficult to put the guards in the right place to leave yourself the chance to actually get around them. There's nothing worse when there's guards there and you're saying, but how can I get around? I can't take enough ice to get through the gap. But Japan persevering with the corner guard.
Well, they got to get back a little bit to their game plan there. Get into some of the draw games. Try and keep stones around. They seem to be chasing these last couple ends.
Yeah, they're just not getting the opportunity to build an end when they've got the hammer. As you say, they're chasing rather than building.
我等一等，可以。6，先别顶线1。我要线到。7、8，避让偏大。下线推一推，它下来了。下来，下。乖，薄一点，再下。
Struggling to find that right path to get around those guards. Again, a little chip shot of those corner guards.
It almost have been tempted there to come around the other side.
Would you be tempted, Rona, if you're Japan, go around the center, beat China to the punch?
Yeah, you definitely could get round there first.
それ縦は2つ切れそう。でもちょっと邪魔になっちゃいそう。だと切るか。
Japan 2 down, really need to score at this end. Can't afford to lose any more.
That's why they're looking to open up the front.
Oh, getting lots of stones moving here.
Getting a few, almost gets that one into the rings. They do push a Chinese stone into the side. Well, just getting confirmation of which hit the boards and which didn't. So China now lies 2.
Yeah, Japan need one good one in here. See the time clock on Nakajima. So at 13 for tea. 16-3, not far away. Ah, lovely shot.
That's a well-played shot. I haven't seen as many draw shots from this Japanese team in the last couple. Change it, make the perfect freeze.
Okay. Let's see.
Looks like they're going to have some work to do to try and get a second point to score. But after back-to-back steals, making sure you score is important.
China want to just come in and freeze right on top here.
It didn't look like it was losing its handle, actually goes back the other way.
So now here's a really good chance for Japan, the way these are sitting. Yellow's always going to spin on the red.
They trying to get some roll away for Matsumura.
Yep, trying to catch this slightly to the right-hand side. Get the shooter to roll over. They also looked at rolling in the way.
Well, that one goes right off, right away. Early on, almost like it picked something up because that one missed by feet.
I don't know if at a release she turned it across or not. We didn't really see, but here we.
Yeah, sort of the
Sweeper
sweepers.
stand back straight away. I think it must have caught something coming down the ice.
Yeah, just the reaction of the sweepers will tell you a lot of the time when they're close and then they back right off.
That's a shame. They, had a chance there to capitalize. And you don't like to see that happening. But it's part of the game.
It is, and with the warmer weather outside, honestly, it has cooled down a little bit, so it's colder in the building today. Less frost, but even if there's a little bit on there, it can catch it sometimes, a soft spot, a flat spot in the ice. It's not always debris or fibers that sometimes cause it.
So, chance now for Japan to remove both these guards.
Looking at the double peel, but could almost come around at the red stone itself, the way it curls.
They're looking to see what way to peel these. Catch the right-hand side, both will spin. That one there is slightly higher in the center. Ah, they've changed their mind. I think Nakajima was thinking she could hit the middle of them. But this is an easier way to peel the two.
Well, it's important to know all the angles. Now, Matsumura trying to hit it in the right angle. And we'll end up running it by.
Just got it too thick.
Fortunate they didn't go at an angle where they clip the yellow through the hole. On it almost the whole way, and watch this one slides just by everything. Would have been really unfortunate and unlucky to pick that yellow, but Sometimes think it's easier to do that against yourself than if you were trying to play the shot.
Oh, Chinese coaching bench.
Marco Mariani actually was very positive and reaffirming. Just keep going. Good positive reassurance from the coach. It wasn't even some struggles from both sides. It wasn't a negative one. It was a very positive upbeat, which I think with a young team is important.
Yeah, so important to keep them upbeat at that 5th end break.
And they had just taken a steal. They take another one. Let's see what Australia, Korea have going on sheet D.
Korea line 2. Lauren Wagner trying to play a double here. Sweeper's on it early. And she's played it perfectly. Great shot.
Nicely
Score
done.
of 2 for Australia.
A 1-point game. Look, middle of that end. If you would have told me Australia got 2, I wouldn't have believed you, because at one point I think Korea was lying 4 or 5. But how quickly things can change. We are into 4th stones. The guard went up for China. See all the scores. Kazakhstan 6-3 over Hong Kong. 7-1 Qatar over Chinese Taipei. 5-4 Korea, Australia. China in our feature game doubling up Japan right now. 4-2 in end number 7. 4th stones, Ikui Kitazawa.
Big rotation again. Not giving this one a chance to come across. She needed to err on the right side and even catch the guard.
And is that one better if you do miss on the guard than the way that she did miss?
Yeah, unfortunately. You can see here, loose handle, goes to the end of it and then spins it round. So a lot of rotation, holding it straighter, doesn't get the big curl. And that's the end result. Misses the shot and doesn't take the guard. So it's one of these ones, if you don't make the shot, you want to get the guard.
And a good spot here for Han Yu.
China in a really strong position here.
Just plug that hole, take that same tap back away.
Coming right round. Yeah, nicely played. Maybe just overcurled a fraction, but still another stone in the way.
Can you, if you hit what you can see, or well, you can't see anything of it right now, but if you hit just a hair on the left-hand side, about the same weight she just threw.
Yep, I mean the guard that she's passing is quite long, so there's plenty of time for it to move. Because that yellow's always going to jam on the red. But she has to have enough weight and momentum for the red that she's hitting to spin off.
Final stone, this 7th end. Second crack at this one for Kitazawa.
It's closer.
Get by the front, by the front. Now get by the next one. And they crash on the red stone in the 8-foot. Another steal, so close. But Kitazawa will give China another steal. They now lead 5-2. Look at this one. just sneaks by that top one, and they can't hold it. Once it goes, no coming back. 5-2 after 7.
他也就1分，头也是往外甩也不够。
再往外站一点的话，他们就没有。这局是关键局，就是把分扣好了。啊，还是站位进营，咱就不变了，就正常这么打。OK， 来，1、2，加油！
It has been 3 straight steals as we play end number 8. Luke Coley here with Rona Howie as we have our feature game, China and Japan Pacific Asia Curling Championship 2019. Thanks for tuning in. And a well-placed centerline guard, Xiao Riyi. Things are rolling and things are moving in China's favor right now.
Yep, the momentum's definitely with China. Japan need to stop the rut now and really get a couple back on the scoreboard. Again, just the guards so long. Just, well, is it even over the hog line?
Wow. So long. Look at that look there. They might have to call the official over to take a look and see.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're going.
Has to be completely over.
Yep, the umpires have got a new measuring tool this year to check if it's over or not. So they are allowed to call the umpires on for this.
Well, I want to see the new tool now, Rona.
Sorry, we think the outside. 不好意思，那个我们这个在外面的压前线了。
Happen to know that make sure all the equipment make sure it gets over for these events for this purpose.
Indeed.
All the stuff gets packed and shipped all around the world for all kinds of events. A lot of logistics go into making sure everything gets there.
Yeah, definitely. Every country has its challenges. Oh, you're not going to see because it's in the way. Oh, there you go. You can get a wee look at it now.
So there's the measuring device.
Thank you.
So it did not make it over. But a good debut for the hog line measurer. Make sure it's over the hog line. We'll say even if it is over, it's probably not doing a whole lot in this end.
No.
As we compare leads, Ishiguka 82 to 57%. They'll try and get these guards in play, Hasumi Ishiguka. But you see at this point, look, how far it gets off to the side. Just above the World Curling Federation logo.
And previous ends as well, Japan, you know, they get some corners up, but they're not getting the opportunity to use them. You can see here that one hanging high. It takes a long time to come off, and once it does, just didn't get past that one. But that would probably have come in to virtually the foot area.
Actually works out not bad. 4. They chip that one a little wider. So we compare the seconds and advantage. Jiang Cindy, 66 to 57, but both sides not the numbers they'd want to see next to their name.
Stats are only a guide, and certainly with the ice being quite challenging with these big swings on both hands, you are going to see a drop in numbers right across the board.
And we haven't seen the ice. It's definitely different than it was the first 2 days. They've been doing a lot of work on it to try and there was some frost over the weekend. Haven't seen as much frost. But it's a learning curve for both sides, and right now China's definitely picked up and grasped it a little bit more successfully than Japan.
And very often that's what makes the difference between teams when ice conditions do change. It's who can pick up on it first and really get to grips with it. Because as a player, the ice conditions, they're not going to change, they're not going to help you. You have to read the ice, you have to play to the conditions.
Right around, and we'll look over Kazakhstan, Hong Kong, 6-3, Kazakhstan lead.
And they are lying 1. So an opportunity for Sitora Aliyarova. Sorry, they're facing one Hong Kong. It needs to pass the top red. Oh, great shot.
Very nice. It's 1, and it's a 7-3 game after 7 ends. Nakajima just peels the 1, chips the red into the rings. So it is China lying 2. China's had much more success in this one without the hammer than with. 3 straight stolen points.
Now they're deciding to clear the guards. I see that long guard's not a huge problem for them. But they're playing the scoreboard here.
Oh, and we'll miss that one, actually peel their own out. So now Japan needs to take advantage and get something set up. Comfortable, it looks like you're going to peel a guard and all of a sudden you rip your own out. Japan could be lying 1. So we compare third numbers, 73%. Shang Liujun, Chiaki Matsumura at just 59%.
Chance now though. Get round behind this cover.
Oh, there's a nice come around using that long guard. Get by the front. Do they have enough of the yellow and will hit roll to the heart of the rings? Very nice, Shang Lijun.
Yeah, very nice shot.
8秒6。
他那边进完12秒5，我们还好就。
只要低于8秒，他就。
Again, Japan are persevering with coming round this corner. But it is such high guard. You just saw there how easy it is to come round it, wait and even tap it back.
Looks like they got second shot. Has forced China to deal with it.
It's over curled and China can actually see it on the other side now.
这样打，你那个站位高，你不行把前面停开都行。那我就再小了，我问9秒，9秒5 ，OK， 都能打出去。行 ，OK， 行 ，OK， 没问题，对的，中线吧。不行，
They're going to come the way they know.
多大力量打？10秒5啊，10秒5
，9秒5吧。
我感觉10秒5。
去像是那个。行。加一个。
Yeah, staying there, even if you take the guard.
10秒，中间收一点，10秒的力量，这个点可以 ，OK。
打吧后面打前面，这儿。
So Han Yu try and use that big curl we're seeing today, but won't get by the front. Just like that, now some life in the end for Japan. Here's the numbers, and Kitazawa has struggled, doesn't even tell the story for her at 38%, Han Yu 52%. But Kitazawa, make a couple shots this end, you get 2 and you're right into this game and have a chance to win it.
Yeah, this is really important here to lie to.
So looking options do they have? Do you try and freeze the back one? Do you hit that top one? Obviously with the ice they're not hitting anything.
Yeah, she could hit the top one and roll over fractionally to the left-hand side there and lie to. She's choosing to come around. Even if she does come around perfectly, it's a fairly straightforward run back for China.
Trying to wrap right around. Let's wrap behind. You could play the hit. You can, now there's the double available. Real good effort, but needed to get it further behind that redstone.
But even if it had come further back through the forefoot, the double was always still going to be an option. You know, for China to come off that winger. But they have to play it. She's asking the question. And Han Yu has to answer here.
Opportunity at the double. Last shot without the hammer. They've stolen 3 straight points. And this one going already. Are they going to jam the back one? Get away without catching that. Very close to sticking it. Could have been even more. Japan, chance for the first multiple score of the game.
Yeah, China hit that in completely the wrong side. But as you said, look, got away with it.
Watch this one on the back. Almost sticks it. Both these teams are younger. Just seeing the changing in the ice surface form a bit, not adapting, and that's something you got to learn the experience.
Yeah, definitely. Both young teams.
Last stone of the 8th. Kui Kitazawa needs a piece of the forefoot to score a 2 and make it a 1-point game.
It's the same shot she's just played.
Well, coming right down to her own. And there, 2 perfect shots from Kitazawa in the end. And it is a Japanese deuce. Fans like it. It's a 1-point game, 5-4. China leads Japan. 2 ends remaining. Two ends remaining, China and Japan. The first 2 comes in end number 8. Rona, no better time than scoring in that 8th end and scoring a deuce.
Yeah, great time to score it. Scoring 8 and scoring 10.
So centerline guard now, draw to the wing. See the national coach now of the Chinese program, Pei Lindholm. Did okay with the Swedish program and now comes over.
Yeah, did a pretty good job with the Swedish program, I have to say.
A little bit of a few medals for the work he's done with that squad, both men and women's side. So learning curve for him as well. He's got a younger team on the women's side. Knows he has both squads, men and women, at the Olympics. And now it's trying to build to that. This will be a definite learning curve for them because young team may not have seen quite as drastic a swing on the ice in other ones.
Yeah, and that's where it is a big learning curve. They've got to experience this and know how to deal with it. Every ice rink they go to will have different ice conditions. So how do you adapt and as a team, you know, you've got to help each other, and that's where the communication really comes into play.
I'm sure Pia Lindholm has played in pretty much every type or been around every type of ice surface imaginable. Of course, Pia himself, a 3-time world champion.
And he will have a very clear vision of what he wants to do in the next couple of years. As you say, he's the only national coach that knows he's guaranteed a place at the Beijing Olympics.
So right around to lie 1. Well, asked to go right around everything. And let's keep you up to date all the other games. Australia, Korea going on 7th end, 5-4 Korea lead.
Korea lying 3. Great chance here. Kim Moon-chi just has to be biting the 8-foot. Sweepers seem quite happy with the weight. Can use her own as backing. Perfectly played. Big score of 4 on the board for Korea.
That's a right back. So 9-4 Korea leading. Well, Qatar up 8-1 over Chinese Taipei.
Chinese Taipei lying a couple in there. This is a chance to get a big score back on the board. Lin Heidi drawing it into that 4-foot. Over curled, taps the yellow guard. So, score of 3 there. Missed opportunity for 4.
In that, it was a double peel attempt, gets both of them. Actually moves those yellows around of Japan's by Jiang Cindy. Leaves them lying 1. So the clearing shot opens up that center line. It was a little bit messy.
China have got to look at it. It's the 9th end. They're 1 up with the hammer. What's their goal for this end? They don't want to get sucked into a big Gudley end.
Well, Japan brings another one in. They have 2nd and 3rd. It is China, though, with the hammer. Haven't had the hammer since the 4th end. Kazakhstan, Hong Kong over on sheet B.
Kazakhstan, 2 counters at the back of the 8-foot. Chance now for Hong Kong. Hung Ling Yu just needs to be in the 8-foot. She's got backing. Sweepers on it all the way as she passed. She is. And makes it perfectly. Hong Kong. Oh. Did she make the shot?
It looked like
sure.
it, but it was a single point for Kazakhstan, so it must have overcurled. Jiang Cindy able to make the hit. Little roll, so Japan trying to chase this one again. Get around right to the face of that one in the 4-foot. Closes in the rings. If you're Japan, you're trying to steal, but at the same time, is the force the end of the world?
Yeah, Japan want to be a wee bit careful. Should you say ideally steal or just force a one? You don't want to lose any more than that. Just one end to go after this. China call a timeout.
So going to take their one timeout to talk this one over.
我觉得清一个好一点，分2分分
2分他肯定还是往里粘。对，啊0比0肯定没有了，肯定没有了。投到这儿，他还是往粘吧。咱往上这儿投呢？
其实往这儿投没有实物去向，你要往这儿投，你投偏后了我就粘你。我觉得
把前面清开。那简单一点，就把墙给清开了。
而且这个球你就让他打呗。
他意思清完了还是往这粘，他往这粘，然后再打的话打他这个也出不去。
不是，那就奔这个打呗，打不好的效果咱中线也是清开的。但是你要是往这儿投的话，继续堆。
第一个，对啊，第一个还有4个球呢。
因为站位不多，站位就1个，他要是多了，其实。
Well, the long walk for the coach, Marco Mariani.
清一个，他往这儿投，然后一会儿拿那个找。
对啊，拿那个找呗。完了，找不成清开了，他也得处理。他要不处理的话，咱们打他都不会。
Yeah. From my point of view, yes. And because they can make one, and we can go to the last end with the last rock. No risky. For me, build the guard in the right way, in this way.
Okay.
From my point of view, what do you think?
让他往下说一说。
No.
You just have one.
Yes.
Maybe the other person is a freeze or a guard.
Yeah.
因为一直会他只有围绕着这个球来。
Yes. Yep. From my point of view, this shot is build the guard in the right way, in the right part. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Go. 1, 2, 3.
加油！对吧？他绝对即便给了1分，咱们下一局还是后手。对，逆时球，逆时。OK。
Pretty clear instruction.
It's instruction, but it also is at the same time, from my point of view. This is what I think. That's my 2 cents, and go from there. Young team not going down and saying, you need to do this. I like doing this. If we're tied, if they take one, we're tied playing the last end with the hammer.
Yeah, and I think that's what's good for this young team. It's not thinking I have to score with the hammer. It's, do you know what, if I give up one, it's not a bad situation to be in coming home peels with hammer.
So they do play that, but they end up leaving that stone out in front for China. They call the peel. All the timeout, and it's that execution after the timeout. You expect it, and you just didn't get that.
I'd like to see Japan just play a tap-tap on this, not play a big weight to leave what she's indicating, but just with a softer weight to leave stones in play.
Straight draw to that side of that other one.
She's past the top one, okay. Has it got the weight?
Well, if they stay on her, they're going to actually take away almost that tap-tap by corner freezing their own. China with the missed peel now has to go after and try and score multiple points.
Japan just not capitalizing when they get the chance. today. They've really struggled.
他那多大？
掉的大，因为有持转那个，你忘了你的站位吗？
那全场刚才多大
？13秒。
13秒。好。
But important for China to bring this counter in here. They can't afford to come up short and leave that raise for Japan. They need to get a second counter in, lie 2 in the forefoot.
我等一等，等一等。我这边底线带。是我。可以下线插。不用不用，力量小。
Sweepers on this early.
4、1、5区5区没问题，插上2。加线路特别好，插上2。加油。
Really coming across.
Can they hold it, get it past? They won't. They'll add another one.
That's what we were saying earlier. Just you need that ounce of running when you're playing on the big swing, because it just once it's over the hog line, the weight comes off it really quickly.
对，而且这球线路往外都行，不能往里，因为他得想办法解决咱这。
So here is that chance for Japan. Can they take it? She catches this red. Right hand side. Push the yellow back onto the red. They would lie pretty nicely in there.
Pivotal shot for Kitazawa. Well,
makes it perfect.
Spins it off the side. Rolls away to not leave any of those reds good angles left.
Yeah, she was just unlucky that it spun out into the open. But first and foremost, she had to make the raise. And lie a few shots and put the pressure on to China.
Hanyu needs to make a roll, otherwise it's going to be a chance to roll back and facing 2, maybe more with her last.
Yeah, if Hanyu could hit this and roll across behind the staggered red and yellow, that'd be a great result.
好。
Trying to hold the line to get the roll.
Okay.
Right on the nose. Chance now, Japan make the hit and roll. Looks like could lie 3. Difference on this, Rona, just seeing. So China took that inside out turn, the out turn, to make that roll.
Yeah.
Japan quickly played the in turn. Is there a difference in?
Yeah, on the big swinging ice, sometimes you are better playing into out to control that swing a bit better. Even if Japan knows here, it would make it tricky for China because they can't then afford to nose because they wouldn't get shot. Although the roll would be good, a nose isn't a disaster.
Got to make contact though.
That's what we're saying about that swing. It's harder to control that way.
So now the 8-foot is open.
That was a chance there. Opportunity lost for Japan. China looking to see if there's a way of getting 2.
I think you look at it, you got to draw, take your 1 a 2-point lead to the 10th end.
这样你就大点劲儿吧，不能尝试。这边吧，这头。行，
那边可能不太够，但是那边就得奔着贴这个球过，不能奔着。
他现在这2个键
，2个球键。
哦。
Still got over 5 minutes in their time clock, plenty time left. for the last end, so use it wisely here. Oh, got binoculars out, checking the situation.
Seeing the angles. Close-up look at all the angles.
Looks like China gonna go for the tap on their own red here.
It's definitely what they're looking at. Figure they don't like the draw path, controlling the curl.
You could just avoid all of them and use the other side that's more open.
Well, this is the difference. If Japan would have nose hit or even a little roll in, they could be lying 3. The shot's even more pressure on Hanyu. Final shot of this 9th end. Well, not going to get the tap. Are they going to be able to cut it down at all? It's going to be a steal, and a steal of 2. Teams with the hammer have not had success in this one. It's a tap and a steal of 2, and a Japanese lead heading to the 10th end. It has been a wild morning here in Shenzhen, China, the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2019. Back and forth. It's a 6-5 Japan lead. And Rona, you don't see a lot of line scores that way.
No, that was a big steal there for Japan. 4 shots in the last 2 ends. And it completely changes the mindset now, because the whole way through that last end, Japan are thinking, okay, we steal or force the 1. Going into the last end with the hammer, now all of a sudden Japan are 1 up without the hammer. So China still aren't in a bad position being 1 down. With the hammer, get your 2, you win the game. You know, it's still a good position to be in. And it's important not to dwell on that 9th end for China. Just look at the scoreboard, 1 down with a hammer, let's go for our 2. And this is where between the 2 teams probably look that Japan have got a bit more experience playing out the 9th, 10th end of games. The Chinese young team just maybe haven't had that experience yet on how to play out the game. They had that lead, how do they defend it?
Well, play behind the corner to get one set up early. And perfect. First 4 as let's see our first handshakes. Korea knocks off Australia, doubling them off 10-5. So Korea improves to 2-1. They'll sit right behind second place after this session with whoever drops this one, China or Japan.
Yeah, Japan can't remove the guard from play. So even if they come around here at a back ring weight, if they just nick the guard, that would be a good second option. But this looks as though it's gonna nose the guard. You can catch the inside.
Well, taps that one in. His second shot, still shot stone, top of the 8-foot for Japan. Score of 2 by China wins the game. 1 would tie. Well, let's look at the last rock of the 9th end. Showed that they were playing a tap of that corner guard, the red one. Han Yu over curls and leaves the steal of 2. And so 4 points. 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th.
China just clearing the front. That's all they've got to focus on right now. Making sure they score. Nice nose hit.
Well, become a very simple 10th end here, but there's that back one. Here's where the important hit and sticks need to come into play. Try and move those stones around, not leave doubles. No real guards in play at this point of the 10th end. Well, hit, roll off to the side.
Yeah, really nice. Yep, okay, happy with that.
I'd be very happy with the result on that one. Goes to a good spot. Now it's Japan's turn. They have to be precise. So right on the nose. Any slight error goes the way of the other side. Shang Lijun. Oh, a hit and that little rollout. Take away a chance possibly of that too.
Okay.
Still wide open, looking like a 1 is a possibility for China, but Matsumura needs the execution of this one.
Looking good. Ah, well played. Really nice shot.
So no real guards for China. I have those two as we'll look in Chinese Taipei and Qatar.
So Chinese Taipei are lying game right now. This is last stone of the 10th end. Qatar with plenty second counters. Trying to raise their yellow onto red. Oh, and just goes past, so it's a big steal for Chinese Taipei.
What a comeback. Down 8-1 with 3 ends remaining, and they win it 9-8. Chinese Taipei moves to 2-1. Qatar 0-3.
Very happy. Big smiles. Meanwhile, nice draw in here for China. Makes it difficult to remove.
Japan did call their timeout. More a matter of taking the time.
Yeah, they're down to 1:50. So plenty of time to play their 2 stones.
Yeah, and the come around by China didn't quite get deep enough, but enough that it forces Kitazawa to play off her own. Yeah, well played shot there from Kitazawa.
China just have to go for the same one again.
Well, Kitazawa made those 2 shots in the 8th end, and there's a confidence now you can see in her. It's just she seems more sure of herself and making that shot, which wasn't an easy one.
Yeah, I think she's had a better game on the hitting side. Her draws have really let her down today. So as you say, she seems to be a bit more confident now. But still an opportunity here. Han Yu can come right around, bury it.
And look right down at the rocket with the release.
Super standing back so far. It will dig in.
Well, stops for shot stone, so a very good draw by Han Yu. Give herself a chance to try and score 2.
Yep, really nice shot. Coach is looking up at the time clocks. Japan have got 1:20, so plenty time. China have still got 1:20 as well, so no need to panic. But this is a key shot for Japan. She said that she struggled with her draws.
But it was the 8th end, she made 2 of them. I'm just wondering if she's rushed this. Is it going to stop? Just that extra weight, and it slides by. So China now has a chance. Great first draw by Han Yu. She can draw down to pick up the win And then those 4 points in the 8th and 9th ends, can forget. Pick up a huge win.
Japan have played a really good end here. But that one good draw from Han Yu.
Absolutely precise shot with her first, and now need a piece of the 8-foot. See the low numbers, but she made the last. This for the win.
Just needs to bite the 8-foot.
Well, come down, don't want to tap it too far, taps it, and will sit in time for China to pick up the victory. They use their backing, and China picks up a huge 7-6 win over Japan.
Oh, sorry. 这挺好，我感觉他车手带小，做的小。他那个滑的线小一点，我给他倒了一下刷。我感觉他车手做的线也有点点，然后出手转少。12秒2，这条线滑了。就走了吗？我知道，因为他按我那个量来了，他就没掉下来。啊，然后呢？那你晚上。老韩这个滑的像一个托，你知道吗？我就给我赶紧带上了，行了。
A look back at the 8th end. Hikui Kitazawa. Draw for 2. Struggled with her draw weight today, but makes 2 fantastic draws at this end. First 2 of the game for Japan. 9th end, Japan line 2. Han Yu just has to draw the 8-foot to score 1. In between the raise on the red or the cold draw, gets neither. And it's a big steal of 2 for Japan to take the lead. 10th end, great draw from Han Yu with her first. Failed attempt from Japan to follow, so a draw for 2 and the win. Just has to be in the 8-foot. And makes it perfectly. A score of 2 and a win, 7-6 for China in a very topsy-turvy game. So a look at the other scores. Kazakhstan 9-4 over Hong Kong. Chinese Taipei with a 9-8 win over Qatar. Australia going down 5-10 to Korea. And as we saw, China 7-6 victors over Japan. So how does that look in the standings? China top the board in 3-0. Japan, Korea, Chinese Taipei all on 2-1. Australia, Hong Kong, Kazakhstan 1-2. And Qatar looking for their first win on 0-3.
Congratulations. How do you feel after that win?
就是祝贺，你觉得怎么样？
谢谢，我感觉这场就是第一次打这种成人的比赛，然后也是第一场有直播，然后在心态上可能会有点紧张，但是做的比预想的好一点。
It's a little bit nervous because it's the first time to take part in the adult game and it's the first time to play against Japan, but it's better than the expectation.
And now you're sitting alone in first place. What do you look forward to the rest of the week?
那接下来这场比赛怎么打算？
我们都就按准备的，然后一样的对待每一场比赛，然后掌握好自己的心态，主要是
based on the plan, so we will treat each game seriously and to do our best.
Thank you very much. Best of luck.
And that's it for the end of Session 6 from Pacific Asia Championships in Shenzhen, China. Thanks for watching from Luke Coley and myself, Rona Howie. We'll see you later.